Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. Good to see you. My name is Ben Mosby. Happy Bank Holiday Monday. Is that me? There we go. Happy Bank Holiday Monday if you're here in the UK, if you're taking part in any VE Day celebrations as well. I hope it's gone well for you. I hope you've had a lovely day. And thanks for being with us. We've had a great day here actually. It's been really fun. We've had lots of fun, lots of positive comments coming back about our Craft Your Stash shows. All about helping you to get the very best out of all of your crafty stash that you've got. So if you've missed the shows today, if you go back to the first show we did, it was all to do with all things scoreboards, covered off all the scoreboards, the Ultimate Pro as well. The middle show, we were looking at all of your different ink pads as well, and I think probably the most thorough ink pad show that we have done. So if you are, again, ever stuck for what ink pad does what or which one you can use where, go back and watch that show. Because it was absolutely brilliant. And in this final hour tonight, we are talking all things glue. So if you have any glue questions for us, get ready to fire those in nice and early. Superstar Susie on the socials. But I feel like, knowing the amount of work she's prepped this show with, Debbie's going to have pretty much everything covered, but feel free to fire those questions in. We are hopefully going to cover off everything that you needed to know about glue and probably some stuff that you thought you never needed to know. But let's say hello to the lovely lady herself, who is to the side of the studio. It is the Barnsley bombshell, Debbie Robinson, and she is amidst all of the glues.
I have indeed. I've got everything that I possibly could. I was raiding Jake's drawers, quite literally, to get as much as possible in terms of glues, from wet glues to dry glues to 3D glues, you know, decoupage glues. So I've got literally all of them out, and you can see I've got a hot glue gun, I've got foam on a roll, I've got foam pads, I've got red liner tape, finger lift tape, dotty tape and straight tape with the refillables. I've got wet glues in terms of solvent-based, water-based. I've even got gem glues galore, felt glue. I've got textile glue. I've got liquid glue. There's glue pens as well, and I've just remembered those off the top of my head. I thought I'm going to get those out as well because they're there. They've even got right down to the spray glues, and then the latest in the line of our adhesive kits. I've got that in there as well.
Do you want to come back to me for a second? Apparently, we've lost your mic. You're sounding a bit muffled, apparently. If it's, I've just seen where her mic's gone. There you go. Yeah, I've had a... Cool, blimey. Right, anyway, got a bit red there. Let's say a few hellos.
I've lost it. Help! Anybody coming down here? Either.
All right, I need to concentrate and talk to you guys because everything that's happening over here is very distracting. Let's say a few hellos. Superstar sees you on the socials tonight. Love to create. LC says, greetings, Ben, Debbie team and everyone. I've been loving all the shows. Thank you. Thank you also to Trudy, who's joined us again, saying hello. Charlotte Clark says hello, all from Georgia. I hope you are all well and enjoying your day. Julie Chiverton's in Exmouth. Jane Adams is in, saying good morning, everyone, from a fabulous, rainy Las Vegas. Colleen Passardi says hello again from Florida, loving today's shows. Zoe Carver says good evening, everyone, from me and Brian in West Sussex. Lois says, good evening, everyone. No, yes, she does. She says, good afternoon, everyone. It's live at 5. Yes, it is, Lois. Michelle Moore says, hello, everyone. I'm back, Queens, New York. And Charlotte Jones says, hi from Florida. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit flustered after all of that. Debbie has managed to fish out her mic from where, I shan't tell you. But shall we get started now? Any questions you've got, as I say, fire them in. Fire them in. But I feel Debbie is going to be very thorough and she'll probably cover off everything you need to know anyway. But anything you want to ask, feel free. Let's make it as interactive as the last two shows, please. And let's get started. So where are we starting first? We start with our liquid glues.
I am. I'm going to start with the wet glues. Can you hear me all better now?
Yes.
So I'm going to start with wet glues before I move on to dry glues. And I have got quite a lot of wet glues, so I'm going to take my time with this one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with the main two that we have in our library of glues that we have. So I'm going to start with Collal All-Purpose versus Collal Tacky. There we go. Let me get the right way around. There we go. Let me get that. There we go. Now, these are the standard bottles. You can get a larger supersized bottle in the all-purpose glue. This is the solvent-based glue. This is the water-based glue, and I've actually got one that I've decanted into one of our fine tip applicator bottles in there as well, because that's how I do a lot of mine, as you see most of us do here. But these two versus why you need them and why there's two different glues in terms of wet glues that you do actually need, and it's not a gimmick, because anything solvent-based is perfect for all your mats and layers. It's the wet glue with the wiggle time, whether you're sticking thick or thin cardstock papers together to get no warping, no creasing, no bubbling. That's the one that you would use. This is the water-based one. Now, I said water-based. I don't want you thinking we've got, like, when you go out into the high street and you buy those PVA kind of glues, they usually got quite a lot of water in, a little bit of glue in. This is the opposite way round, where there's a lot of glue, sticky glue, and a little bit of water in there. The visible difference that you see is one's white, one's clear. Both dry clear, just so I can get that out of the way. And I'm going to start with a demonstration that I'm going to do, sticking a piece of pattern cardstock to some ordinary card, just to show you the difference of with mats and layers. This one I would always use when it comes to glitter, mirror, coated cardstock, Centura, those kind of glues. That is when I would use this glue. I do not use that for mats and layers, and there is a reason, and I'm going to show you that, and hopefully you'll be able to visibly see it. I did it the last time I did a glue school, and you guys actually saw that, but I'm aware there's new people that are joining us, different
Well, you've
people
just answered
joining us.
Michelle's question. What's the best glue to use on glitter mirror cardstock?
Yes,
almost like
it's always going to be the tacky glue. I promise you, the tacky glue. Now, just for these purposes, I've just brought in a couple of pieces of cardstock and some patterned paper. I'm going to use this side because I think you'll be able to see it better than you would be able to see on a heavily patterned paper. But we're going to do this with the glues. Now, I will talk to you about the solvent-based glue as well. You do get like a little bit of dried up piece there, but I've deliberately fetched a bit of black cardstock just for a second to show you when we talk about if you put too much of this glue on. This one's great because not only does it give you the wiggle time and dries like cement, so sometimes when you take out, you know, we talk about extracting cardstock and sometimes you can weaken card. When you use this, it doesn't weaken it because it strengthens it. It's almost acting like another piece of cardstock in there when it dries really, really hard. But it also allows you to take the glue off when you've splurged a little bit out without leaving any residue, and I'll talk about that in a second. But what I'm going to do is I am going to use this glue on both of these pieces. Yeah. Okay? Well, actually, no. One piece on that one, that one on that one. There we go. That's it, Debbie. That's it.
We know what you meant.
I know what I meant. So I'm going to pop some glue on. Now, when I use this, I don't use masses of it. I just put like a little thin layer and going into that corner. But what it allows me to do, especially if I pop it up there, it allows me to, it gives me a couple of minutes to be able to wriggle that into the place that I want it to be to get the perfect mat and layer. And if there is any excess, you can simply wipe it off and it dries up in like little glue balls. But I'm just going to give that a nice coverage just to pop that down. This is white cardstock. So 300 GSM white cardstock with a 250 GSM patterned paper. And I'm just going to make sure I've got all of that popped down. Now, it's like with anything. Heat, it kind of gives it that nice bit of stick. But I'm just going to leave that there just for a second. I'm just going to pop that there. Now, I'm going to bring in the tacky glue. Always, whenever, because this, I said, there's like a bit of a water content in there. So, Debbie, don't be knocking things over. I'm just going to give it a little shake, so always do that, a little shake. When you're opening these, it's the same with this one. You've got like a little screw top. I've seen people in the past unscrew this one. You don't need to do that unless you're refilling it. It's the same applies to this one. And again, sometimes you might get a little bit of glue, but then, and you'll see now, you can see visibly, there's white glue. So it's a white glue that I'm just going to pop on again. Debbie. Onto the back of there, and we're going to stick that down onto the same cardstock, so no difference in the cardstock. But what we're going to do is we're going to place it on. You still got a bit of wiggle time. It's not something that, you know, grabs in. It grabs quicker than this one does, so it does grab a little bit quicker. But if I just now, and again, you might get some splurges, but difference there is you're probably going to need a glue eraser, which, by the way, we now have got, in one of our kits. But I'm just going to stick that down. I'm going to make sure that covers all the way around as well and grab hold of that. There we go. Again, just make sure that's gone all the way around. Now, both, like I said, the same pieces. I can already see the reasoning why behind. I can see, but I'm going to let that dry just for a second, because I don't know if you can see it visible when you do from the front, Sam, but can you see this one, ultra flat, this one slightly
down the bottom
curled.
a bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can see that. Now, that's not dry yet, so we're going to let that dry, and we're going to come back to that to explain why you are going to use a solvent-based glue like our all-purpose Collal glue when you're doing mats and layers, whether it be thin card or thick card. So you could do it that way. You stick black onto white, white onto black. You still use that, even though it's... because that literally, like I said, gives you that solid extra rigidity, but it also, and again, I'm just going to do it, Sam, and we've not even dry, it's not even dried yet, but you can see straight away. There's a visible difference when you go head to head.
Oh, yes, you can now.
And I think you can see it, and this is before we've let that dry.
Yeah.
This is flat as a daisy. This, you've got wrinkling and crinkling. Now, I'm not dissing tacky glue, because tacky glue has got a place in the life, but I'm going to let that dry, and we're going to come back to that nearer the end of that. Now,
okay.
Go on, sorry.
No, I said okay.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were going to chuck another question in
Well,
there.
I've got questions, but I'm just waiting for you to... Yeah, it's fine.
You're waiting for me to stop?
Yeah.
Thought so.
I'm being profesh. I'm waiting for a point to drop one in. I just said, okay.
So when we're talking, and I'm just going to grab... let me grab a little bit of... I've got some red glitter card down here. Let me just grab this for a second. Now, this is coated. It's encapsulated and it's coated. So when you use a solvent-based glue onto the top of a glitter cardstock, let me see if I can get that out. When you're using this, do you know if you get like any
Oh dear.
It's always a good example of why you do not use a solvent-based glue onto coated cardstock.
Yeah.
Because the solvent lifts it. So a good example, just to show you, and this is just me using my finger over the top of it.
I never knew it would kind of destroy it as much as that.
It does, because it's lifting the coating.
Wow.
So it's actually, because it's solvent-based. And I think you can see with my finger, a prime example why you don't use solvent-based onto the glitter cardstock or to mirror cardstock. And I think you can see, I know it's sticky, but look. Can you see?
Oh, yeah, it's all like peeling off.
And this is, I mean, look at the state of my finger now, my lord.
Well, you stuck it in there.
I know I did, but I just, again, a visual. I need you to see. For me to understand terms of glues, because I was the biggest critic of glues when I first started crafting. How about me? Get away. Trying to get me to spend more money on glues. I was honestly, used to tell me Auntie Jean all the time, I'm not buying all those glues. I used to buy one glue, photo glue, and used it for everything.
Photo glue?
Oh yeah, I'll come into that. I'm coming to that in a bit. And photo glue is not the right glue to stick mats and layers, to stick boxes and construction together. And there's reasons behind why there's different glues. But I never believed it till I saw it with my eyes.
Yeah.
And that's for me a visual learning. So for me personally, and I'm just putting it out there, you can use it on your coated cardstock if you want.
Yep.
But believe you me, there is a reason why you wouldn't use it on your coated cardstocks, because I've got a red finger, it's not coming off. It will come off, I promise. It will come off, but that's because it's taken the layer of what you've got, that coating. And that applies to mirror cardstock. It's the same with mirror cardstock. It would do exactly the same with a mirror cardstock, with a satin cardstock. Yeah. So when you're using for mats and layers, the glue of choice that you will use is this one. That's the one that you're going to use. It's perfect for construction. It is also, as well, extremely strong glue.
There we go.
This has been stuck down using tacky glue. All of these items has got your tacky glue on there. Dries clear, comes out white, dries clear, but it is absolutely fabulous in terms of lots of things that you can stick onto there. You can pop 3D items onto there. Tacky glue is absolutely, it's a fabulous glue. Let's make no mistake.
And
it's
that's stuff like
glue.
Plastic, metal, wood, stone you've got there.
Yep.
So this might answer Cindy's question then. She says, I want to make a tassel out of a twisted twine to attach to the hat of my grandson's graduation party invites. So what's the best way to attach twine to the paper there? Would she use tacky there, or would she go for maybe the glue gun?
So it depends how thin the twine is.
Right.
in my mind, twine's quite thin, so a layer of tacky glue would be perfect for it, because it will dry clear as well. So you, for me, you would not use twine with this.
No.
Because you're going to get it everywhere. I promise you'll get it everywhere. So tacky glue would be the one to use for your twine. Okay. You can use a hot glue gun. The problem with your hot glue, and it's not a problem because hot glue guns, I've got an absolute place in your craft room for your crafty stash for other projects as well when you want an instant stick. But depending on how much of the flow of the glue comes out, you're probably going to get more glue versus your twine. Yeah. So for me, every single time I would be using tacky glue for twine. Every time. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want a couple more questions?
Absolutely.
So, and you'll probably come on to this, but Elsie says, will loose glitter adhere to the all-purpose glue?
All-purpose?
Yeah, loose glitter.
Don't use it.
No.
No. I would use a spray.
Or tape pens?
Tape pen. I would still use tacky glue. I'd still pop tacky glue when it's into your fine tip applicator. I'd use a spray. I'd use tacky. I would use tape pens for depending on the desired effect. I would same with the red liner tape, with finger lift tape, any dry tapes, anything like that. And of course, glue pens. Yes. Because glue pens are perfect for glitter. They are, and gilding flakes as well. So yes, absolutely, absolutely not. When it comes to glitter, but no. And
I think you've half answered Michelle's question here about glue for glitter or gilding flakes. So what you've pretty much just said, really,
spray,
isn't it? Yeah.
Great for it. Foam is an absolutely fabulous. I did have my foam sheets out. I thought I've put them back. That's what that was, because I've been tidying up in between the shows. Foam pads is a great one for gilding flakes, because you could peel a sheet off, put your foam pads in, put your gilding flakes over, and then you could die cut into it.
We did that, you and I, didn't we?
Did,
I made a card for my Valentine's card.
From our gilding flake kit, yeah. So foam is great for that. It's also great with your your glue pens for your gilding flakes, and of course all of your dry tape pens, again, red liner tape, finger lift tape, to create some nice effects as well, using glitter, using gilding flakes. Personally, please don't be using all-purpose glue. You do not use all-purpose glue for with glitter flakes, trying to remember the name then, with gilding flakes, sorry. But we do have another glue that you could use, which is your liquid glue. Oh, yeah. And the liquid glue is brilliant for things like your gilding flakes and glitter. So yeah, you could use that as well. So we've got lots of different glues for lots of different jobs. There's a reason behind it. It's not us just doing the game. I promise you, it's not.
And I know you'll probably have an order of what you're going to come on to next, but one other question I've just seen come through from Ash, who wants to know why she would need a glue gun. And I know you'll come on to that in whatever order you feel, Debbie, but that's the next sort of question we've got. Why would I need a glue gun, says Ash.
For me, a glue gun, it provides hot glue. Now, when I say hot glue, extremely
Very hot.
You do not let your kids or grandkids anywhere near this. That's all I'm going to say. It needs to be supervised if you are, because this is extremely hot glue. But it's an absolutely fabulous tool to have. Comes with already a couple of glue sticks in there. It's also got a stand as well. But hot glue is an absolute must-have for anything 3D as well. If you want to adhere bows, anything that you want to stick down for an instant stick. When I say instant stick, it's hot, it comes out hot, but it dries really quick. Really, really super quick. And again, you get all your glue sticks. There's packs where you can get additional glue sticks for that as well. But I personally use it for when I am sticking a bow down, when I'm sticking something that's not got any self-adhesive backing. I don't do it for gems. I'm just put it out there. I've got a different glue for gems and things like that, and I wouldn't use it for that. But anything of substance, you could, of course, use hot glue. If I bring this back in, I could have stuck all that down with hot glue. So MDF, things like, if you want to stick, I mean, why would you? But if you want to stick a tape pen on there, you could use your hot glue. Hot glue's brilliant for things like this, you know, your bells and, you know, little trinkets. All those kind of things, and that could apply to being hot glue. You probably get a little bit of a natural lift, because it's a thick glue. It's like a big gloopy glue, but it's absolutely brilliant for all of those things as well. So yeah, hot glue has a place in your craft room as well, and I would not be without my hot glue gun. I promise. It's honestly, it's a fabulous. I'm gonna have to put that back in there now, aren't I? try and get that back in.
Yeah.
But hot glue gun is an absolute must-have. It does dry very, 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 very quickly. It's not something that requires a long waiting time to dry. It's quite an instant stick. But be warned, please do not put your finger in the hot glue. And I'm speaking from experience because it's happened to me on a couple of times, and it's extremely hot and it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, so just be aware.
And like Debbie says, if you are
that under
crafting with
there for
kids,
Yes, please don't use it,
When
supervise
I
it.
did the tour with Sarah back in 2022, I had to sign a waiver to use the glue gun.
Did you? Oh, I believed it then. You.
No, and of course I didn't, because I didn't know. I had to use it live on stage for the 10 nights we did it. I'd never used one before, and no, they are brilliant.
They are like ceramic. Do you know, like things like ceramics, anything like that? Anything again, I do use it for in my card making, but it's usually when I'm applying something to it. I wouldn't use it for mats and none of that. Do you know, like when you're doing a rosette and you want to? Oh, those gorgeous paper flowers. Do you remember the paper flowers?
I was going to say, we used it on tour when we made the big snowflakes.
Yes.
So we cut the little paper bags, and then we were sticking like the layers of the paper bags together. That's when we then used it for that.
Yes, because it gives you that instant stick, instant stick, and super, super strong as well. So there is a place, because it is that multi-purpose bonding. It's that, you know, it's going to do lots of different things, from cards to ceramics to, and it gives you a list on back. It's going to adhere absolutely anything to anything. They are fabulous, and so an absolute must-have in your craft room as well. Yes.
Few comments coming through, and then we'll get back onto where you sort of want to take us with it. Thank you, Debbie, says Cindy. Yes, the twine is quite thin, and that was one of my concerns, so hopefully we've sorted that one. I tend to use hot glue when making flowers, says Zoe, especially go through a truckload when I'm making crepe paper flowers as well. That's a good idea to use it there. And Wanda says, hello all, enjoying the Refresher show. I have a tip on the glue tape pens. I discovered by accident when fighting with one, I won. There's an open slot on the side that you can stick a pokey tool into to wind up used tape clockwise, like your old cassette tapes. Sometimes the tape won't advance and needs some coaxing. No more wasted tape. That must be perhaps on the... I wonder if that's obviously on the new ones, because you can take those apart, can't you?
You can. You can on the new one, and we'll talk about tape pens in a second. I just want to give you a visual, because I've got an update.
Oh, yes, here we go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right, so all purpose, and I'm just going to put it there. All purpose, can you see it? Straight.
Flat.
Is there any wrinkles, any bubbles?
Like it.
It's flat,
yeah.
Flat. Same cannot be said for the tacky glue. Look at the, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, but look at the state of it.
It's sort of warping, isn't it, almost?
Warped, wrinkled, and I can promise you right now, you can actually see...
Little wells in the back.
Literally, you can see them there, literally all there. It is not the right glue for matting and layering with your thin... It's a fantastic glue. It really is a fantastic glue, but it is not the one that you would be using for mats and layers with paper or thin cardstock. You just don't use it, because again, that is the best visual I can give you, and how to tell you why those glues are not a gimmick. They are for a reason. We have those different glues, solvent-based, water-based, and the water has actually soaked into there and made it wrinkly. That's the problem that you get. But as you saw, solvent-based with a coated cardstock, like glitter cardstock, mirror or matte, that's what's going to happen. So no. There is a reason why we have different glues, and honestly, it's always a really good thing to show you whenever we're talking about glues and the reasons why you have different glues for different jobs.
And just a question whilst we're just still on liquid glues, and this is a question from Susie actually, and it was asked fairly recently. You know, we have the little fine tip glue applicator bottles.
Yes.
Normally has tacky glue in, I want to say.
It does. Sarah though puts, let me grab it.
The question is, can we put other different glues into that as well?
Yeah, Sarah does. Sarah's got one here that's got all-purpose in.
Right.
So if you want to get into nooks and crannies, you can absolutely, although I think someone's missed the think we've got a bit of a glue situation going on because the pin's not there. So, but yeah, you can put it in, but please don't take your pins out. If you take your pins out, your glue's going to dry up. But I'm just going to see, yeah, it's dried up, so there's a bit of a blockage in there because someone's took the pin out of that. But Sarah does have one for our all-purpose. She puts all-purpose in, and that one's got tacky glue in there as well. So, and you do get 2 bottles, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely.
One of each.
I would not be putting a thick glue in there. By that I mean things like our 3D Kalal glue. Do not put that into a fine tip applicator bottle. You'll come unstuck instantly.
Yeah.
It won't go through that thin nozzle. So yes, so Sarah does pop it into there. And you can hold things like glycerine into these bottles as well, you know, for your other techniques that you do. But yes, you can if that's what you want to do. Sarah does it all the time. You've seen her do it. I just don't know where a pin is, so I'm going to try and find the pin for her.
Ash says, thank you for that explanation. And hi to LDD, who's on the Cloudy Farm near Philadelphia. Let's go and carry on, because I can't believe we're almost halfway through the show already. These shows fly over. Talk to us about tape pens then, Debbie. Looks like you're setting up for that.
So we're going on to dry glue. I've got some more wet glues that we'll talk about in a bit, but I'm going on to the dry glue, because these are the ones that we use mainly in card making. So we've got our straight, I call it the strip, the strip glue, or the straight. It's a double-sided glue on the mouse. We now have, of course, our new models. Yeah. I'm just going to bring these in so you can see them together. Our new models are our refillables. In these, there's 22 metres in these. This is the dotty tape pen, one I cannot live without. So the dotty tape pen in the originals are 22 metres long. In the new ones, they're 30 metres long. But these are refillable. So I do have the refillable cases to show you how to do that for anybody who hasn't seen that before, because I am conscious, again, new people joining us all the time. So that's what they used to look like. Still can get hold of these. This is what they look like now, but you can have refillables in there. And still ergonomically shaped, just slightly different to house more glue, of course. But this is our dry glue range. And of course, strip versus dotty. Why do we need? Well, you strip, and whether you're using it in the refillable or in the straight one, you just grab hold of it. You've got your double-sided nature, and it literally is a case of you pop that down, and I'm going to do a big strip. At the bottom, you give it a little flick. To release, and you've got your straight edge. I've done it on black so hopefully you can see that little bit better, okay? If you were to do where you just pop it down and literally lift it off, you can end up breaking your tape pen. So the knack is to go in and flick, and light touch, a light touch. First time I used that, I thought I had to do it the same way that I did it with all my other previous tape pens that were not ours. And I used to really press down to get it out. You don't need that pressure with these beauties. No. I promise you. And if you do put too much pressure, you'll break the tape, and you can end up where it becomes almost like clagged and stops working. So it's the lightest of touches. You don't need a lot of pressure. You literally pop your finger onto there, and then you pull that down. Can you hear how light I'm being with it? Yeah. And then just give that flick to break that idea. And that means you're not ruining any of that glue, because if you don't do that little twist, what can happen is this glue can split. And again, you can come unstuck very quick, very fast. Now the dotty tape pen, it's exactly the same way, the lightest of touches, still that flick to break. But the difference there is the dots versus the... And literally, the reason why you need this, and I'm going to do this onto... Let's stick these two pieces down together with a straight solid piece. And again, I'm just going to pop that down. Going to flick. You can literally go all the way around, and I am guilty of doing that sometimes, but absolutely, just get into the habit, light touch and flick, and you can put as much down as you want. But what you do need to do with this, and I'm just going to grab another piece of cardstock, and I'll put that onto some black. You've got it's really, really sticky. I mean, it's super, super sticky. That's just me. You've got my finger at the back of there. It's really super sticky. But what happens when you pop that down onto your cardstock? Don't just leave it, because if you do, you can lift up. When you're happy with where you've put your panel, this is what you need to do. You need to give a little bit of heat, a bit like friction, isn't it? Where you just literally take this and give it a good good rub is the word I'm going to use, a good rub to make sure that that's not going to come undone. And when you take, and again, when I try and get my finger, I've got a little bit of my finger underneath, but if I try and pull that back, I'm going to rip the cardstock. So you can stick that down, but please do make sure that you, and that's whether you're doing construction, if you're doing construction boxes or anything like that, you can still use these pens. They are super, super strong glue. It's not a case of being an inferior glue, wet versus dry. It's not that at all. It's the fact that it is a super strong glue, but you just need to make sure that you've given the heat to it. And the same applies to the dotty as well. So the dotty is perfect for all your intricate die cuts. Now, if I was to do this with that, I'm going to end up, when I turn that over, all the glue seeping through and it'll look a complete mess and you've wasted a die cut piece. That is when the dotty tape pen comes into its own. And I'm going to go all the way around all of that intricacy. Sentiments, intricate die cuts. I would not be without it. And I'm just going to lift that up because obviously the waste goes onto there, but it's covering all the areas. Let me just make sure I've covered absolutely everything. I'm going to switch to, because obviously this is solid, so I'm going to go into the middle with the solid. Even the dotty tape pen is super, super strong. What you've got now though is a really clean, super clean piece. And again, I've just given a little bit of heat from the fingers onto there to make sure that that's not going anywhere and sticks down super, super solid. So again, and the beauty of dry glue is, of course, doesn't matter what you use, you're not going to get any wrinklage. Any wrinklage?
Wrinklage, yeah.
Wait a minute, rinking? What's a rinking?
Rinking?
Wrinkling.
Wrinkling?
No wrinkling.
Wrinkling or wrinklage?
No bubbles, no, yes, that word. But it is super strong. And if I just show you now, and I mean, I wouldn't normally do this, but if I try to pull that back, I can get so much, but...
Yeah. Oh, hello, careful. Don't fall over. Yeah, that shows you. That's
what's going to happen. I had to really pull that off. Did you see the strength of that? That glue is super, super strong. So, absolutely great example of solid, how to use it, and your dotty, how to use that as well. And then in terms of refilling, you literally, and this has got like a little cap. Previously, they had like a little top that they, Debbie, get that right way around, that they got. I think I had it the right way around the first time. There we go.
There you go.
That covered it. This has now got like a little casing. It might sometimes fall off, but it easily slips back into those pieces. But all you need to do, and I'm going to try and just pull that off so it releases there, and then it opens up the tape pen. Now, as you can see, with your tape, and it's the same with these, this is a new one, so it's quite full here. When it comes full over there and nothing here, it's time to throw that away because your 22 metres are up. And the same applies with, and if I just bring this in just so I can show you, and we'll get it the right way around, there you go. So this is nearly ready for replacing, okay? When it's ready for replacing, there is your replacement, and you're simply going to attach back together, and it clicks into place, and then you are going to get, and if I always remember the right way around, because I always get that a little bit wrong, you just clip that into place, and you layer it, snip in, and it's ready to go. Brilliant. And don't forget, just push that back when you're ready to go. And again, you're just going to pop lightest of touches, flick. It's the same with the new ones, lightest of touches, flick. Again, all the way around. And you can put as much or as little as you want. As long as you are giving that little flick, you're getting your solid piece ready to go on. Debbie's just ruined that piece, so let's just go down onto that side just for a second. But yeah, so again, you can, a bit of movement if you don't do that heat to it, but the minute you put the heat down, that's not going anywhere. So again, absolutely fabulous glue pens, and they're your dry tapes. There are, of course, other dry glues, which we'll come to in a next, and I'll talk about those in a moment.
So I've got loads of questions. I feel like we're running out of time a little bit here, but let's try and fire through as many as we can. Trudy says, is there a particular reason to use a high temperature glue gun and a low temperature glue gun?
So there's a different, we don't do a cold glue.
No.
We do not do at Crafter's
Cold,
Companion a cold glue gun. They are out there on the market, and there's just differences, hot and cold. There's not much difference in terms of what they do.
Okay.
Personally, I prefer a hot glue gun. Like I said, it is hot to start with, but once it's down on your cardstock and you've adhered something, it's pretty much couple of minutes and it's okay to touch. Yeah.
Stacey Lee says, my card is Boeing. Does that mean I'm using too much because I use all-purpose?
If you're using too much you really don't need to be using a lot of all-purpose. You shouldn't be getting any Boeing. However, if you go overboard with your all-purpose, you can. You really can, because you don't. I don't know if you saw how much I put on there.
Yeah.
It was minimal. You don't need a lot.
Less than you think, isn't it?
A lot less than you think. You do not need a lot on there. So it could be that you are being a bit too heavy-handed with the glue, and that's what could cause that. And I might actually get a little piece of cardstock and try it myself to see.
Okay.
But yeah, make sure you're just using the right glue though. Yeah, but that could be the case that you've put too much down.
Robbie says, when you use the glue for the glitter card, do you use it on the front and on the back when you're layering? So when you're doing your mats and your glitter card, do you put it on the glitter and then on the back of the other one, or just on one layer?
Now you meaning, I've got glue everywhere. Are you meaning that you are layering a bit of gold glitter or mirror on top of that, and then on top of more? Is that what that means? That question?
No. So if she's sticking something onto that glitter card, for example,
yes,
and she's using the tacky glue,
yes,
is she putting glue on there and then glue on the underside of the thing she's sticking? I think that's the question.
You only need the glue on one side of the sticking. Yeah, you don't need to double layer glue. Yeah. No. I mean, you can, but I think you'd be using too much glue, to be honest, and putting too much down. And then what can happen is too much glue, obviously spillage, or it comes out, and even though it dries clear, you will still see a residue on mirror card, matte card, and glitter card. So again, minimal. All you need to do again is, like, when you hold it down or when you're putting a bit of like something else onto the top of this, you just need to hold that down into place, and again give it that little bit of a rub for the heat to adhere, and maybe hold it into place until it's grabbed hold of it as well. Okay? Yeah.
There's one more question I'll ask in a second, then there's a few questions which you can hopefully sort of wrap into one. So a lot of people are saying about, with everything which is going on in the US at the minute, not being able to get hold of
sprays,
but also people are talking about the all-purpose glue. If they're looking for replacements for that they can buy in the US, what sort of words are they looking for on the glues, if you know what I mean?
Solvent-based.
Right. Yeah.
Just as simple as that, a solvent-based glue.
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking for and you can't get hold of all-purpose, it's a solvent-based glue. If it says water,
no.
Solvent-based. Yeah.
And one final question, and then I think we're pretty much up to date, and then we can crack on with some more glues here. So Helen's asking what glue you would recommend for those. Remember those handmade papers? She says, what glues would you recommend for that? I've had trouble wiggling it once I put it down.
Yeah, because it's very fibrous. Yeah. Have we got any? Wonder if we've got some lying around.
Shall I go and ask?
Might have to ask. We'll come back to that and show you.
Okay.
But I'm assuming, does she say what glue she's tried to use to stick? No. Because they are a specialist paper, a spray would be good. Right. Is she UK based or
Helen's
US based?
In America.
America. So to stick that down, I would probably go with... I'd probably use a dry glue. Yeah? I'd use a dry glue, okay. To stick that down. If I can get hold of some, I'll have a little look for you. Okay. Because I've only ever die cut into that. Right. I've never really used it as like a solid piece. Okay. Because it is a beautiful paper. But yeah, use a dry glue. If you're unsure, use a dry glue. Again, because it's made of paper, isn't it? It's crushed paper, isn't it? So... Let me see if I can get hold of a sheet for you, and I'm going to have a little look at it and show you which glue will probably be the best one to stick that down. So I'll try and find some for you. In fact, we'll ask Guy Lovely if he's around for this.
Thank you, Stacey Lou. Says, I think the Glue School is always a good show. It's a refresher and also helps the new crafters. Deborah says, no wonder I've been having trouble with my mats and layers. I've been using tacky glue when I need manoeuvrability. I'll switch to the all-purpose immediately. And thank you, Jane, for your nightly joke. Says, hey, Ben, what do you call a spider with 10 eyes? A spider.
Oh,
yes,
my
Jane.
goodness.
Right, we've got less than 20 minutes, Debbie. What do you want to move on to next? And I'll see if I can go find you some of that handmade paper.
Thank you very much. I'm going to talk about some more wet glues, but I'll move on to, and I've mentioned photo glue already when I first started crafting. I stuck everything down with photo glue. Don't know if I've ever told you this story, but for those people, that don't know, I used to do all my mats and layers with photo glue. I used to put construction. I thought it'd hold. No, it didn't. Photo glue is exactly what it says on the tin. So do you know, in terms of using this for your scrapbooks? Oh, scrapbook, it's just been scrapbook month, hasn't it? I think it was Saturday. We've been sharing all of our makes. I had the time of my life making my scrapbook. Noticed I thought of all the team, and I put all mine down there. This is the right glue for your photos. It's repositional. So repositional means you can peel it back. So if you want to change photos out, you can change them out and it doesn't leave any mess. It doesn't ruin anything. Do you know, like when I pulled that back and that literally tore the cardstock away?
Oh, yeah.
On a repositional photo glue, that won't happen. So I made some mats and layers, my Auntie Jean put it on top of a fireplace, heat coming up. I literally saw the card, face, front, slipping off. I was like, what's going off there? And it's because I'd used a repositional glue and the heat lifted it and it just literally fell apart. I was mortified because I'd spent ages on this card. But I used to think photo glue was the be-all and end-all, and that's all I used it for mats and layers, construction, everything else. Didn't work. And that's the reason why it is a photo glue, perfect for all of your photos. And I genuinely mean it. It is a it's a glue base. It's still solvent based, so solvent based, there's always a little bit of a smell to them.
Yeah.
So, and you will get that with this, but it is quick drying and it's free from any acid. So perfect for those scrapbook pages and perfect for your photos because you're not going to spoil anything, you're not going to ruin anything. But you only apply a small piece. Now, do you know when the other lady talked about applying on both sides? Yeah. That's the one you need to put in both sides, yeah, right. Absolutely. And it does tell you on there, you've got to allow it to dry, only briefly, it does dry pretty quick. But yeah, and you need to still press, do you know, like I said about friction, about holding together and giving it that little rub, you still need to do it with that as well. So that's one of the glues that we do here. So that's perfect for your scrapbook layers. Then we've got two different types of 3D halal glue. The one I use all the time is this one, the one at the top. It's transparent and odourless. So this one doesn't have a smell. This one does. It's got silicone in it. Okay, so there's two different types there. So you might see those two different. They look pretty much the same. However, can you see the one bit of difference? Decoupage. Silicone. Oh. Silicone.
I have to see a big decoupage in the bottom one.
Yeah, it says decoupage on there though as well. But this one is the one that doesn't smell. Ah.
I've never ever
Have you not? We do sell it. Yeah, we sell both. Silicone, obviously, it's got a bit of smell to it. So again, but this is the one that I use the most of.
So why might you use the bottom?
They both do. Honestly, they're both fabulous glues. There's not much difference in it apart from the word silicone.
Silicone, not decoupage.
Which now you know, don't you?
Yeah.
Now you're going to see it. Now next time you look at it, you're going to see it. And I'm just going to pop that there. You still get your kit in this one as well. So if I just pop that there, you still get your kit. So you still get in your tube, your applicator, and I'll get them both out. But this is the one that I use. I think you've all heard me by now. It's my chunky glue. I love the stuff. I wouldn't be without it. But just so you can see the difference between the tubes, I'm just going to split that up there.
Oh, yeah.
Just pop that there. Stay there. But, yeah. There's a yellow little bit missing from that one.
Well, I never did.
Yeah, the little lid's missing out of that one, but don't worry. So I'll just separate them so you can see them side by side. There you go. And this is your silicone-based one. And a silicone-based... Now, all of these do have like a cap on, and that's when you turn the other way to pierce through there. And when you pierce through... Now, it's the same with anything. Let me see if I can do it and get the pressure on. Because
go on.
It's all right. It's because there we go. Now, there is a distinct smell with the silicone one, but it still acts as a decoupage glue. It's still transparent, it's still thick, it's still clear. So if I just squeeze that little bit out, just so you can see, You see there? But
What? Stinks?
smelly, yeah. It's a smelly one because it's got silicone in it. So it is a really strong, and that's why I do like this one. I won't lie, odourless for me. But it is still a 3D glue. It's still a decoupage glue. There's just the difference between the two. But with anything, it's the same. You need to make sure you've got a little bit coming out, because if you don't, it's going to end up drying out. So please be aware of that. I'm just going to grab a little tissue just so I can get that off. But that will still allow you to add. Again, we could use this board as an example. This example, you could still do all those things using the silicone 3D Kalal glue.
Yeah.
Kalal. So yeah, that's the difference between the two and the difference between the two tubes. And you will notice that smell because it is that silicone based. Right, so put that into there. And then I'm going to come to this one, my favourite all-time glue. As you know, I talk about it ever such a lot. The difference with this one is it's got a silver cap, so not like a metal one that you've got to pierce through. You've just got to peel that back. So I'm just going to grab my poker tool because I've got silly nails and... ouch, Debbie, you should have put the poker tool the right way around, girl. You just stabbed yourself there. You're having to tidy up and I've made sure everything's safe, bar one. I guess who's just stabbed herself with it?
What do you like?
That would be me, that would be me. And just so you can peel that back to, really, just throw that away, you don't need to keep it. But this, again, you'll see Debs and Craig, they squeeze a bit out, they take a poker tool and they apply it onto the back. And it's a nice, thick gel. The difference between this is, it does not smell. There is no smell whatsoever to it. Not a thing. In fact, it's quite a pleasant one, that one, actually. But for popping into, and this is how I use mine, I pop it into my tube. You've got your little key there to help you squeeze out every last little bit, plus help you squeeze out all the air bubbles as well. I'm just going to pop in, and I always say when you're using this, pop in how much... Oh, Debbie, let's just give it a squeeze. I think me...
Most times I see you guys use it though. You just do as you've just done there, squeeze a bit and then use a pokey tool to take the top bit off, don't you? You don't?
Yeah, Debs and Craig's do. I don't. I like mine in my tube. I'm a little bit of a stickler, yeah. So I'm just going to try and squeeze. In fact, Ben, can you come and help me a second? Because my fingers are hurting a little bit.
Come on.
Thank you. Just want you to hold the cap. You probably would be able to do this, but I'm just...
Do you want me to squeeze it?
No, I've got pins and needles in my hand. So I'm just going to squeeze it from there. You keep hold of it while I do the turning. Thank you. So squeezing that in, and I'm just going to pop it to about, can you see there, about 3/4 of the way. You could go up to the top, but however... just release it, yeah. Just release, take it off, yeah. Just keep that key into place and bring a little bit up out the top. I've probably gone a bit too much there, but I don't want any air bubbles in here. If you get any air bubbles in there, kiss goodbye to the rest of that tube. And I don't want... Give it a good squeeze, and then I seal mine down with, and I'm just going to show you, just grab hold of that for me and keep that there, because the key is notorious for coming back up and you can lose it. So I grab a little bit of like micropore and I just stick mine down with a bit of micropore just to hold it into place, and then I pop that back in the tube. So that's just my little way, my little top tip, just a little bit of micropore over there, stops any air bubbles from getting in there.
And why have you left a bit in the end?
And I've left a bit in there to give the space to be able to put your plunger in. And then take it up to the top. And the last thing, again, you need a bit of air bubbles. Any air bubbles in there, again, would again, literally cause that to stop moving. And the same when you're popping the top on as well. So literally squirt a little bit out there. Just make sure there's a little bit overhang there, and then pop your top on, and then that will be good to go over and over again. Just make sure that there's no air getting in there and there's no air bubbles in there, because if you do, again, kiss goodbye to that tube and you're going to struggle there. So again, that is absolutely my favourite glue in terms of layering for decoupage. And I've just fetched out Leanne's board, I hope she doesn't mind. But to create layers when it comes to, and I'm just going to lay it there so you can see it. And I know there's the age-old argument, and me and Craig, we don't come to blows over it, foam pads versus 3D Kalal glue. That, for me, I prefer the 3D Kalal glue. It gives me wiggle time. It gives me time to get it into place. A foam pad is quite an instant stick. And sometimes as well, when you're using it, you still can shape. And I know that's where me and Craig, like, have a difference of opinion. You can still shape with foam pads, but I find you get a better shape when you are allowed to use a wet glue with it, and that extra wiggle. For me, it's the extra wiggle time, but you can get a different approach by using foam pads, because foam pads have a place as well, as we all know, because we all love them. I do still, I use them all the time as well. So yes, absolutely. So that's your wet glues in terms of 3D collal glue. Might have to keep that here now.
May as well keep it to one side.
Might as well pop it over here. But yeah, 3D collal glue, silicone 3D collal glue, decoupage glue, and photo glue. So again, all three have different jobs. Yeah. Two of them quite similar, but it's just the difference between an odourless to a smelly one.
Just to say as well, if you've got any final questions, then get your questions in now. We've got 10 minutes left.
Oh my goodness, where did that happen?
I know. So last chance saloon to find any questions you want to ask Debbie before we wrap up in 10 minutes time. I'm
just going to quickly talk about these then.
Bottles.
Yeah, so I'll talk about these different types of glues that we've got. Now, Collal do what's called a strass glue, and that is for your gems.
Right.
That's a perfect one for your gems. However, we've had a new kid on the block.
Yeah, we have.
We've got our gem adhesive. And the gem adhesive is going to be perfect for those craft applications in terms of your gems. Super sticky. And I mean beyond super sticky. Try getting that on the back of your fingers and you literally can take a layer of your skin off.
Oh, really?
It's so sticky, but it's absolutely fantastic for your gems. Gems aren't going to move. I think you've heard me talk about my friend pimping up her plimsolls for a wedding. She put sequins all over. They still haven't come off. They're absolutely incredible. That's an incredible glue, let me tell you. So there's two different types of gem glue. Then you've got your felt glue and textile glue. So this one is the felt. So whenever you're sticking felts together, this is the glue that you need, which is the collal glue, so it's a felt glue. And this one is the textile. So for any of your textile, any of your materials, again, it's white, but it does dry clear. It is honestly perfect for any types of textiles. And again, you can hem clothes with it, you can stick pieces together, it's washable, so that's a perfect one, for example, when it comes to textiles and felts. There is another one for polystyrene, but we don't have it here. That's another liquid glue, another form of a liquid glue, which comes out like a blue tinge to it. So when you take that out, it's got like a blue tinge, and again, if I just squeeze that up, you might be able to see that. Oh, Debbie.
Oh, hello.
Well, yeah, you have. I've got fluorescent, look at that, fluorescent fingernails now. But yeah, you've got that on there as well. Now, that is perfect for your gilding flakes and things like glitter as well. Again, it's super, super sticky, but you need to, before you apply any of your, oh, look, fluorescent. Can you see it? You know, to let that dry clear before you apply gilding flakes or glitter, because that would be too wet to put it into. So wait till it's gone almost clear, it almost looks like it's dry, and then apply that on. This one is self-explanatory. It's glitter glue. It's still a glue. It dries rock hard because it's a glitter glue, and you've got all different types of colours in that. But I've just brought one of those.
But you'd never use that
to
stick unless you had like nothing else, would you?
You were desperate. Yeah, you wouldn't use glitter glue for sticking. And then, of course, you've got glossy highlights. Now, a reason I've popped it in here in the glue school is because it's still a bit of, it's like a glue. It adds dimension, and it adds that lovely clear overlay look, and it really does highlight lots of different things. But if you were desperate, you could use that for glue as well. But I would only use that when you're desperate. And then you've got your, my hands are so sticky. That glue is like ridiculously sticky, but it's perfect for glitters and applying glitters. So I'm just going to try and clean my hands again, because I can feel my hands going all sticky, and I'm like conscious of the time, and I've still got just a few other little things that I want to talk to you about. These are our glue pens. We have a chisel, we have a fine bullet nib, and we have our pen. I have shown you before in the past on a glue school how to use these, how to prime them, how to store them, and how to get the glue flowing. And it is just the gentlest of taps, and you will see the fluorescent nature. And I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see, if I just pop this down, and I'm going to do a few dots, and I might just do a little bit of a big dot just down there as well. And so that you can see, I don't know if you can you see? Oh, sorry, I've done it on black. I
you can see that now.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, there it is. There. Perfect. So that's how you would prime it. The same with this, you give it a little shake and then you just pump up and down and it releases a lot more glue. That's when you want to use something like a bit more than just like something that's like a pen or a bullet nib as well. So they're the other two types of glues. Please be patient with these. Please store them this way, let the glue drop down and then just slight. And I don't mean bang, 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 bang. I mean the slightest little touch to get that glue flowing through, because I've done that before myself. I can't believe how sticky my hands are with that adhesive glue. And I think ones that I haven't mentioned, red liner tape, double-sided red liner tape, super strong. You will hear me talk about this till the cows come home. I use it for construction all the time. I use this every single construction project I do. Red liner tape comes in 3mm, 6mm, 12mm. It is super, super strong glue and it's dry. So you can use it for things like glitter. You can use it for things like gilding flakes and all those things. Foam pads galore. We've got foam pads. They come in single packs. They come in small and large adhesive packs as well, which has got multiples in there, including foam sheets. Double-sided adhesive sheets are brilliant for, I could have had 2 hours of this show, let me just tell you, with the glues. Foam on a roll, you've got foam on a roll that comes in a small thick one. We also have a 10-metre one and a 5-metre in the super, super thin one as well that you can check out on the website. And then lastly, the adhesive glue pack has got foam pads, foam sheets, red liner tapes, adhesive rubber to get all the glue gubbins off. Absolute genius that is, having that one in there, and finger lift tape in there. And the last two that I'm just going to briefly mention are the sprays for all our UK-based customers. And the difference that you have here, repositional spray. Stick and spray is repositional. So any grey unmounted stamps, anything like a stencil when you're using glitter pastes or chunky glitter pastes, that's the one that you adhere to the back of it so that you get a repositional movement. You can take it off, take it on, it doesn't leave a residue. The permanent glue, and I was talking about this yesterday because I was advising a lady who asked about permanent glue. This is a stick and stay. This is super strong permanent adhesive in a spray can. You simply apply it, leave about, I'm going to say about 15 centimetres distance before you spray. Spray it, leave it for about 30 seconds, and that would apply to this temporary one as well, 30 seconds to get the tacky going. And before you get the, and this is great for your sentiments again, for things that are intricacy that you don't want glue spreading out, and also for things like glitter. It's absolutely fabulous for that as well. So there are your two spray ones. I think I covered.
You have.
It all.
You've covered off loads.
Yes, I think I did
in
it
that
all.
show. Do you know what's been nice as well? We had a few questions in this show, perhaps not as many as we had in the other two, but I feel like Debbie's been so thorough with everything covered off there. We've done pretty much everything. Are you going to have one last little? Here we go.
Well, yeah, you can see even more now. Now it's been drying more. I don't know if you can see, but look at the curl on that. That's got a right curl on that one, and that's tacky glue on cardstock and paper versus all-purpose. If you're having this problem, you're using the wrong glue. This is the glue that you're going to go for mats and layers. So I'm glad I went back to that when it was dry.
Thank you for this great day of refreshing tips, says Diane. I need to go back and watch again, but taking notes this time. And Lois says, I've enjoyed today's shows. Very informative. Thank you. Yes, massive thank you to Debbie. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just going to try and get that rather sticky glue off my fingers.
Don't put your hands down on the counter. You might get stuck there for the rest of the evening. You'll be there like
I'll be there till the morning. If you see me in the same dress tomorrow, the same hair, same makeup, you'll know why.
Massive thank you to Debbie. Just to say, tomorrow we've got a launch party for you at midday. So we're going to do it's an hour and a half.
Is it back to front tomorrow?
I think it's back to front. So we're doing a launch party at midday, our first show. We've got another Crafty Stash at 2 o'clock, which is all about your Gemini machines.
Oh, my favourite.
And then another one at 5 o'clock. And we'll let you know what that is going to be when we get there. So a little bit back to front tomorrow, but certainly, again, a day worth tuning in for, all about helping you guys to get the very best out of your Crafty Stash, because you enjoy these Crafty Stash shows, and I feel we've got a lot of new people watching, which is great. So if you're just picking up all these different crafty items for the first time, these are the shows that you can really kind of watch and get your teeth into and know exactly how to use each and every item. And like we've seen today, though, loads of you who have been with us for years just find these shows invaluable for the point of, you know, we can refresh your memory on all the different glues and even talk about glues that you might not have seen before and refresh my memory as well more than anything. I love these shows because it just kind of, refreshes everything that I've learned over the last 5 years since I've been here. And I think we've had a really, really good day today. So thank you for all the positivity. As I say, massive thank you to Debbie for today's shows. Thank you to Johnny. Thank you to Sam. Thank you to Liam. Thank you also to Superstar Susie on the socials, and Radical Rach was with us a little bit earlier on as well. So make sure you come back tomorrow. Whatever you are doing, enjoy the rest of your Monday. If you're here in the UK, hopefully enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. Hope the sun is shining wherever you are. And until then, thank you so much for watching. And Debbie and I will see you tomorrow for that launch party at a different time, midday. Till then, bye for now.